Yes, them thing now working. Yes, them thing now working. You see how they've been in this in this arena. They put all kind of thing. They put about it. What they put the thing in their mouth something. But then, hey, so we have Mr. Nixon Callender here tonight. We have Mr. Nixon Callender here tonight. Let me just get something here and before we start off, let me just play this quick. So remember, just right. So remember, we have what is HMPV virus still on the loose. So people be mindful of that. These are some of the how it spread, and these are some of the symptoms are. So we are still in that. All right. So this is some of the things that will be coming up, the National School Carnival events. And well, this already gone, my mistake. So we know who are the winners. Renegades won in the school, in the junior panorama. Renegades won that. And in the primary school, we have the primary school who won it. I think it was have the list of the winners who actually won. But I'll put it up a little later on. I know St. Patrick's did not win, nor did Bethlehem win. In fact, Bethlehem came number 6 on the list. So we'll check it. And but I'll get it done. Also, training. Remember, if you want to join, where it is at the Queen's Park Savannah, it's still open to all the persons who want to be a part and parcel of that. So this is okay. So this event has already gone, and we do apologize for that. But sometimes you get the right. So this is a scholarship opportunity in renewal. So get on board on that. Well, it starts actually on the 3rd, and today is the 3rd. So if you're not inside, then you have to go at last minute, right? So, all right, okay. So let me so let's right. So let's start. Let me play this.
Comrades, my stance within this association has always been to protect and defend the independence of the PSA and to remain committed to the ideals which had brought me here this evening also. Throughout the turmoil, I continue to do what I was elected to do as a trade unionist. That is, to represent the membership passionately in all matters that came before me. Comrades, Nixon Callender did not run from any challenge. Instead, I stood my ground. I held the fort so that I can fight for you from within.
Fight for you from within. So we have in studio the man, Mr. Nixon Callender. Nixon Callender, good evening.
Good evening to you, Fearless, and to the national audience, especially public officers, PSA members, and throughout the world. I realize that we are streaming further now on this platform.
Well, welcome to I'm going to say the wrong thing. Welcome to Boxum Central Network, and it is a pleasure to have you on tonight. I know that you have a lot of information that you want to share with the members of the public and to your and to your listeners. And what I will do is I will come off the stage. I will take down my notes in between because I will have more questions, and I know that people may want to ask questions and all the different things. If you have a number and you want them to give you a call and ask you any questions online or send any messages, I think you can see the message, the comment section.
Yes.
So right. So you can take your calls, and you can also watch the messages and hear what people have to say. And yeah, so I will allow you to take it from here. I will listen in the background and give you the all clear to go ahead and Nixon sings.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you,
will.
and thank you, Fearless Warrior, especially for having me on this platform, Bounce Up. It's like this, what we are doing here tonight is only started at the Queen's Park Savannah during the carnival, the children's finals, the primary school finals of the steel band competition there. And we met, and it's to give a wider reach. Good night, good night, good night. Welcome to PSA United Sentinels Facebook Live. I am Nixon Callender, presidential candidate for PSA United Sentinels in the upcoming PSA elections on Monday, the 10th of March, 2025. And comrades, we continue to remind you, public officers, PSA members, stay focused. We got work to do, plenty work to do. I like that tune by Banjala. Yeah. That is a serious tune, and it resonates with most of us in Trinidad and Tobago. Very, very good heights. Comrades, good night again. And just to give a little update, we continue to be on the ground in Port of Spain, but we are spreading out. And we are hitting the east, central, we are heading down south, and we will end up probably in the next couple of days or weeks, we'll end up in our sister isle of Tobago. And we continue to advance our 2025 to 2029 Statement of Strategic Intent, which is a blueprint for the management of the PSA. So we again, let me just go through all the candidates here. Myself, Nixon Callender, presidential candidate for PSA United Sentinel. First Vice President, Ms. Fazia Mohammed from the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries. Second Vice President, Ms. Natruda Campbell from the Ministry of National Security, Immigration Division, and our candidate for Tobago, from Tobago, our Yield. And we have General Secretary, who is the current Deputy General Secretary of the PSA, Mrs. Ria Ralph Watson. She's the current Deputy General Secretary of the PSA. She is vying for the post of General Secretary under PSA United Sentinels. And we have Deputy General Secretary, Ms. Alicia Nwalo, from the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Legal Affairs. We have the Treasurer, Mr. Ricardo Cunningham, from the Ministry of Planning, Central Statistical Office, and he is coming in as the Treasurer. He's an auditor by profession in the public service. We have Industrial Relations Officer Keon Charles from the Ministry of Planning, Town and Country Division. We have Ms. Candice Sergio coming from the Southwest Regional Health Authority, Industrial Relations Officer. We have Ms. Ivory Skinner from the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. She's coming in as Industrial Relations Officer. We have Ms. Stacy Semper Scott from the Ministry of Health. We have Ms. Sharika Castillo from the North Central Regional Health Authority. We have Dr. Teresa Richards from the Ministry of Health. And we have Mernel Ragu Bruno from the Ministry of National Security. These two comrade sisters is coming in as trustees. So it is a dynamic group of individuals. And comrades, before I go into the meat of this, what I'm going to get into here, I want to remind you all something. In 2013, there was noise. There was probably about 600 teams. No, it was about 8 teams. There was a lot of noise and a low voter turnout in the PSA elections. In 2017, the 2017 elections was injuncted, but riding that tide, climbing up the ladder, heading down the road for election day, there was, I think, 6 teams. We had the election of 2020. We had low voter turnout, and I believe we had 5 teams. But one thing was consistent over the years. Public officers continue. Most of them, they are staying in the PSA, but they are not coming out and vote. Comrades, let me repeat. What goes on in your place of work, 2 institutions supposed to be responsible for that. And I say supposed to be. It's management and your recognized union. And I'm very deliberate in saying recognized union. Both parties have a semibiotic relationship with one commonality of interest: the workers in that organization. One is to manage, institute rewards, institute discipline, institute promotions. The other is to defend. This is our primary and foundation function. We are to defend. Our sole purpose is to defend. Also is to create benefits for our members, for our financial members, that will not only benefit them, but their family. So when you join the family of the PSA, when you become a member, you are entitled to certain benefits. PSA United Sentinels since 2013 sought to expand those benefits to you all. And we have tailored this document from 2013, 2017, 2020. All our plans in here were tailored to compete with the employer. So in other words, you'll be falling in love with your PSA more. But you'll be doing your work, but you'll just love your union more. So this is the whole thought process behind this, right? So, but our union representation has been on the wane. It has crashed. So members would have lost interest, they get discouraged, and I want to congratulate those members who stuck it up, who fought, and they stuck to being members of the PSA. I want to congratulate them. Because not being in a union is like driving a car on the priority bus route without vehicle insurance. That is it. Your demerit points gone, you get locked up, you get some prison time, fine. That is how dangerous it is not being in a union. And in my ministry, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, I live to see every day. Why being a member of a union is so important. Why having that covering of a union is so important. But guess what? You need to have the covering of a union with competent executives, staff sides, section reps, and as the industrial call, shop stewards. That completes the covering. That completes the armor. It's like having body armor over 99% of your body. That is the equivalent of having a strong and competent leadership And when I say leadership, it's not just the executive. It is the staff side, shop stewards, the full representation for only $100. But yes, comrades, you have been discouraged over the years. And call me mad, call the rest of my comrades and I'm mad because we are doing this over and over and over again, expecting the result that you all will come out in all your numbers and make that change. People talk about change, election. But you won't believe who observes your election more than anyone else. The employer. The employer looks on to see how many persons go in and come out and vote. And that will determine if your union weak or if you're strong. But the way in which people come out and vote because they are excited, they are how to say, they want that, they have that zeal to come out and vote because they are seeing something that they can vote for. Comrades, this is serious business. So our team this year is public officers, PSA members. And when I say public officers, PSA members, that encapsulates all our bargaining units. Stay focused. We got work to do. Plenty work to do. I'm going to be veering off a little bit. And we are going to deal with an anomaly. Yes, we have an anomaly in the PSA elections right now. And again, members, it is up to you all to make that decision. So I want all of you who are listening, who are tuning in right now, share this live, because I'm going to be dealing with recognized majority union status for the RHAs and what it means for PSA members who that other union, the nurses union, would have obtained RMU status for. And it's not just what I see. It's not what PSA United Sentinel say. It is what the law says. So I want you all to share. Make sure and share this feed. Because there's serious business here. Because this anomaly in this election may cause the present team of executive officers, who, even though Leroy is running out into the sunset, you have Felicia Thomas, Avinash, Kellon, and all them failures. Let me just get into my element a little bit. Let's share the thing now. Share. Felicia Thomas, who is not even campaigning, failure. Kellon Wallace, failure. Avinash Maharaj, failure. You all have failed the membership. Let me repeat it again. The present executive members, led by Leroy Baptiste, because he's still president there, you all have failed the membership. Let me just bring it back to all your memory, because you see all of this here, while all this is good, we don't want you all to lose sight of the fact of knowing where we are at now. And we are at this junction, this mess, this cesspool, this broken union because of bad management. The PSA over the years have become political until Leroy is so fast and out of place that he is now going all over our bargaining units, encouraging members to vote for a particular party, mainstream politics. This is how primitive and crappy that Felicia Thomas, Avinash Maharaj, Kellon Wallace, and the rest of them. And you know what is so dangerous about this executive? This particular executive, mind you, all things that Duke would have been doing there. Duke used to face the General Counsel. He used to face the General Counsel. At least he used to face the General Counsel. The PSA is being run by faceless individuals. And you all have failed. None of our bargaining units have closed any negotiations. And only, let me tell you something, only for that alone. Boy, don't listen to Felicia and them, boy. Don't listen to Carol and them. Kellon and them. They, and only they were in the driver's seat until it is even from within. They turned on their own, some of their own executive officers who struggled to do the right thing. Executive officers who have been ostracized. No link sending for them for the finance committee meeting, which is the general counsel. No involvement in executive meetings. And you all come on TV, Leroy, Felicia, and all they come on TV and want to castrate politicians, or they want to beat up on nasty, evil management. But there's wicked people, boy. I know Leroy for several years, and Leroy has become a disaster. Look at where we are at, and what makes it worse, due to the Privy Council judgment, he has just created a blueprint based on that judgment that right now, if this government want to have a privatized prison system, they can have it. If they want to have this thing, fire services throughout the corporation, let the corporations and them be in charge of fire services, they can do it. Already, you see what's going on in the Customs and Board of Inland Revenue. Which part Avinash come from in ADB? Have you completed the negotiations? Negative. Failure. Did you go in the Airports Authority and complete negotiations? Leroy, Felicia, no. Failure. Did you go in MIC? Cocoa and Coffee Board, Blind Welfare Association, Civil Aviation, well, that matter is still ongoing, I believe, in the Privy Council. Did you go in the Bureau of Standards? Have you all closed off all these negotiations? Negative. Failure. I, Nixon Benedict Callender, same full government name, was able in 2011 to bring an end to a bargaining unit negotiations before the civil service signed their agreement. It made PSA the first to break the wage cap. Leroy Baptiste, have you completed the WASA negotiations? Negative. Failure. I ain't come here tonight here to be pussyfooting because I don't have a little parasite to deal with later on in the program. You all have failed the membership. All your whining, wheeling and dealing, persecuting and suffering all your own members. You Leroy, you Felicia, Kellon, Avinash and the rest. One of our executive officers, the Deputy General Secretary, when we finally spoke some months ago, and we spoke, and I told her, I said, I know all about what it is going on inside here with you. And I know where your heart is. I know. And she's an incumbent. And she has chosen to join to a team of professionals led by somebody who all my life, virtually probably all my, I have my substantive, I always defend workers. And she came onto the team. And she's now going up as the General Secretary candidate to get rid of Callender. Only lying to members. You have NIB right now in a mess, having people having delusion of grandeur. But we will come to that another time. So this executive people, nobody, anybody who joined that executive, all you had to run them, castrate them, get rid of them. Castrate proverbial. Get rid of them. They have failed. Comrades, our mission in PSA United Sentinel is to stay focused by way of continually reminding ourselves of the work ahead and to make our members fall in love with their union. This is a policy statement here. Only I'm talking about falling in love again. How you just fall in love with one another, Leroy? Nobody holding a contract. Avinash, Felicia, Kellon, how you just fall in love with people? Because definitely all you do nothing for us to fall in love with all you can't get clapped for nothing. Because the same Avinash right now pushing in front of the agricultural officers that look, on a case coming up in the High Court with the reclassification. Anybody know the history of that reclassification? It was Nixon, Benedict Callender, Jairam Rampasad, and the next section rep guy. I forget the guy name. I'll remind me his name. Who sat down with Miss Dwyker, who was the advisor on the CPO side, and two CPO officers for 10 months. We went through the documents dating back years, 30 years gone by. And we work out, we went through the review. And let me remind you all, for those agricultural officers who did not know, one of the first matters I had to appear on behalf of the PSA for in the special tribunal is where we had to go and obtain an order. A matter of fact, the special tribunal had ordered that the PSA and the CPO go to the reclassification, sit down and do the review. Only then, based on a decision of the CPO, we would have a dispute or not. The matter wasn't properly sent to the special tribunal, so they ordered that the PSA. It so happens that in 2009 elections came an end, and thank God I had the experience of doing the reclassification at the judiciary. That came on our desk one time, immediately. I was an IRO at that time. They sent me on that, and we got that order. And guess what? We settled down. And then in April, bacchanal in the PSA. But guess what? All the bacchanal that going on, I still had to continue going those review meetings. And therefore, it came to an end. And I wrote to the president at that time, informing him that give the CPO only 90 days to make a decision. In the absence of that, go to the High Court and get an order of mandamus. Because even if the CPO is bad, man, say, so they're going to get our order again. We do not agree to the reclassification. At least we would have gotten that decision and then come with all our arguments to treat with it, because now it would have been properly laid in the special tribunal. But guess what? Every election, the past president, he run. They do a calculation. This is how much money all they vote for me, vote for vacuum. 2013, 2017, 2020, they do the same thing. And then Avinash now, poor fella, you don't know shot. You don't know strategy. Now you're putting up all your case coming up during election time. Comrades, this is not a game. And I'm appealing to public officers public officers, PSA members, stay focused. There is a lot of noise going on still. And we'll come to that there right now. So, comrades, I want to deal with the anomaly. And the anomaly is that we have an unfamiliar in our elections. We have an unfamiliar in our elections. And that could cause this vote to split. Now, in all fairness, I just like to be fair. I just always like to be fair. In all fairness, before this anomaly occurred, this individual was a familiar. If you're pulling me back in your neck and you see a marker there, he was a familiar. I am speaking about recently the registered nurses or the Trinidad and Tobago Nursing Union or Nursing Association would have obtained recognized majority union status for nursing personnel of the Eastern Regional Health Authority. Now, the nursing union would have filed for recognition for all the RHAs, nursing personnel. But I'm going to try to be very, very simplistic with this and use words that you all can relate to. For the purposes of filing for that recognition, to be the only union legally binding to represent a body of people, you obtain a certificate called a recognized majority union certificate. You obtain a number, and that's it. No other union cannot infiltrate you. Yes? Now, for a union to file for recognition, in the first place, they had to be sure, based on their membership, that they have 50% plus one. So in filing for these recognition, they are telling the recognition board, we are not a minority union as it relates to these employees. It means that the majority of these category of employees would have joined the union and become members of the union. So that is the first step. After certain internal administrative things happen, that union has to sit before an examiner. And they would go through all the questioning to find out the appropriateness of this union to represent this category of worker. So after they go through this extensive, I would have sat down several of these things. The last one was the ENTs for the Tobago House of Assembly. And they are very, very thorough. Very, very thorough. And after that, the recognition board does something. It issues a certificate of appropriate bargaining union. So they put you in BU1, BU2, BU3 based on the category of workers. And they have signaled to everyone, including other unions, that, hey, this union, the recognition board has placed them in an appropriate bargaining unit. And they have seen the appropriateness of that particular union to represent those workers. Comrades, and for the listenership, very, very simple. Nothing prevents a worker from being a member of 200 union. 200 union. But even even after that union or a particular union obtains recognition, then what comes into question is whether that worker or that member or that worker being a member of that union is a member in good standing. There is now a question mark there now. Because you have to go now to the bylaws of the particular union which that worker is belong to as just a member. In the case of the PSA, here what the PSA says. Membership. And this is Article 4B. Notwithstanding the provision of Rule 4A, 1, a person who is a civil servant or an employee of the central government or of any local authority or statutory authority or corporation or of any other agency or company or business or undertaken in any area where service is delivered and who is a member of an association or trade union which enjoys recognition, that is, sole bargaining rights in respect of any group or employee, which includes such person. What is it saying here? After going through and naming all these agencies, that a person they could be someone in any of these agencies who has a union that enjoys sole bargaining rights, RMU, which includes such person, shall not be admitted to membership. So in other words, you're walking up Abercrombie Street, there's a member of NUGFW. You're just a member. And NUGFW for you is the recognized majority union. And you stop out, hey boy, nah, PSA looking nice. I want to be a member. And you walk in the building, and after you fill out the form and all them kind of thing, you join the union. You may have lied on it. Or even if they ask you the question, are you a member of another union who holds recognized majority union status for you? And you say, yeah, well, NUGFW is my bargaining union. You cannot be admitted. That is what the bylaws say of the PSA. You cannot be admitted. But let's just say that you are in a union which you do not enjoy recognized majority union status for. And you do so now and another union becomes your union or your RMU. Now you're done inside the PSA already. Yeah? You're done inside. Hear what the law says. Comrades, again, not me. The Industrial Relations Act 35. Where a union is certified under this part as the recognized majority union, A, such union shall immediately replace any other trade union that immediately before the certification was the recognized majority union for the worker comprised in the bargaining unit, and subject to paragraph C, shall have exclusive authority to bargain collectively on behalf of the workers in the bargaining unit and to bind them by a collective agreement registered under Part 5 so long as a certificate remains. If a trade union had previously been certified or was deemed to have been certified under Section 86 in respect of the workers comprised in the bargaining unit, the certificate of the last mentioned trade union shall be deemed to be revoked in respect of those of the workers. And if at the time of the certification, a collective agreement registered under Part 5 or deemed to be so registered is enforced, the trade union shall be shall be substituted as any party to the agreement in place of the union that was the party to the agreement on behalf of the workers comprised in the bargaining unit. Now, comrades, this is where you had a union and another union come and take over your bargaining unit. But comrades, in the case of the nursing fraternity of the RHAs, the PSA never held recognized majority union status. Never. They never had. When they were in the Ministry of Health, guess what? Yeah. But when they went over to the RHA, that was it. And all workers who are hired under the RHA, the PSA does not have recognized majority union status. There is only rights. Now, some would say that, well, yeah, the person is not a member already, and anybody could be a member of a union. But the law says that you would not be, when that is revoked, you cannot be a member in good standing. Our bylaw says that also. Now, let me move away from Eastern Regional Health Authority because my comrade Edie Stewart and them, congratulations again, they don't already get it. But in the Northwest Regional Health Authority, a certificate was issued for workers, for healthcare workers, particularly, and this is where we want to bring this now. All right, let me just, good. By letter dated, and this is the Registration, Recognition, and Certification Board, dated 19th September 2024. People, listen to this date carefully. This is the 19th of September 2024. It is addressed to Edie Stewart, President, Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association. Application number 3 of 2015. Hear how long it is. Listen to those numbers correctly. Application 3 of 2015 simply tells you that since 2015, the Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association, based on their application, would have presented to the recognition board that they had 50 plus 1%, which means they had majority members at that time. So they were not a minority union. Since that time, 2015, application for certification of recognition, Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association and the Northwest Regional Health Authority. I refer to the above mentioned application for certification of recognition made on behalf of all nursing personnel of the Northwest Regional Health Authority and to be the bargaining units determined by the board. In this regard, I hereby request the union submit for examination its books, records, and documents in support of the said application at the union's office, and they give 10 a.m., blah, blah, blah. The books, application forms and evidence of payment of insurance fees, blotter and or collection slips, receipts and receipts book, members ledger daybook. And comrades, what the Recognition and Certification Board thereafter, what did they do thereafter? They would have placed different categories of nurses into bargaining units from BU1 to 6. Bargaining unit number 6, the monthly paid employees of the Northwest Regional Health Authority in the following positions: district nurse, registered mental nurse, registered nurse midwife, head nurse, infectious control officer, nurse educator, enrolled nursing assistant. Comrades, let me repeat it again. Bargaining unit number 6, district nurse, registered mental nurse, registered nurse midwife, head nurse, infection control officer, nurse educator, enrolled nursing assistant. Comrades, recently, Comrade Edie Stewart would have made a very, very passionate video and announced that no other union can represent nurses in the RHAs. No other union. But yet, comrade, after nominations were filed, because this would have taken place, I believe, after nominations was filed by us, and I'm calling his name, Oral Saunders, enrolled nursing assistant in the Northwest Regional Health Authority, falls within the appropriate bargaining unit, or BU6, for the Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association. I want you all to ingest that. Now, in all fairness, I like to be fair. If while, now mind you, there is a period in which anyone who files nomination, they could withdraw it, They could withdraw it. When they get to know of something, or something becomes of knowledge to them, or they just say, well, look, that is it. Anyone can do that. But the anomaly is, at present, that we have a candidate. I don't know if his team members knew about this, but I know the Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association, they are online. They keep their members up to date. So let me say, he's not Facebook man. You're not on Facebook. You're not into social media. No, no matter you use the analogy. You're on Facebook. He is a social media person. And you would have seen that. What that certificate has indicated, that the recognition board, which is the authority, has indicated to the world, to all members, all unions, everybody, that enroll nursing assistant, the union which is the appropriate bargaining unit for that category of staff, is the Trinidad and Tobago National Nurses Association. So I don't know if he had told his crew about that, but everybody knows now. So what are you doing in this race? You just want to get cocktail. You just want to create noise to split the vote down the middle. Because people, we only have 3 teams in this race, 3 teams. We have the remnants of the incumbent. We have PSA United Sentinels led by myself. And you have United Public Officers led by an individual, which the authority says that other union is his appropriate union. Because, comrades, When you move from the appropriate bargaining union status, you then move to recognized bargaining union, which means that certificate now, you can now do so and have a collective agreement, that union, for enrolled nurses assistant, as before the letter even leave the postman hand. You just hand the CPO, sorry, not the CPO, the CEO, a collective agreement for that person. That certificate means that you have collective bargaining rights. Every right that falls under the terms and conditions as prescribed in the collective agreement. But prior to that, comrade, I'm going to school you all of the United Public Officers. Let me school you all. When the Recognition Board posts that certificate, placing you in a bargaining unit, under the name of a particular union, you have no, all right, now it's best you just tattoo the union on your chest. Because the Recognition Board, based on the examination, based on the records, well, based on the examination of the records, after that you will get RMU. But they have now said that, hey, this union is the appropriate union for you. So, Oral, what are you doing in this race? What is your main reason for being in this race? Now, let me make it absolutely clear. The United Public Officers, led by that guy, is no threat to us. They are a threat to you. Because guess what? No, what I mean, not a threat to us. They are not a threat to us individually. But collectively, they are a threat to all of us in this election. And I will tell you why. And for the purposes of this election. Comrades, we have a one-man, one-vote system. First past the poll. I want to give you the grim, chilling reality. We have to get rid of an incumbent. You don't get rid of that incumbent, guess what? No settlement of wage negotiations, no job evaluation exercise, no settlement of our other 19 bargaining unions, because they're waiting on another political party to be the end all. WASA workers, no end to all your negotiations. And guess what? At the end of the day, who on contract remain on contract, even though all the collective agreements say otherwise, and the same union, which, guess what? The leadership comes from WASA. They never dealt with that issue. So guess what? Everything in a limbo. We oppose the incumbent. But the we who oppose the incumbent, when you split those votes down the middle, the incumbent now has the lead. I want to tell you all tonight, I ain't mixing. You see, from tonight, Nixon Callender is in the element. Because that, and I refer to them as, let me be kind, delusional members following that guy. Because, comrades, if it's one thing I am clear in my mind, and this is the thing, I don't know what goes on in Oral Saunders' house. I don't know his children's name. I don't know his middle name. I don't know what gas he does put in the car, what car he drives. But one thing I could tell you all, what I do know is that for all my years in industrial relations, I have never seen one document or heard of or mention of or whispered to that guy who is leading those bunch of delusional members was involved in the preparation, drafting of any collective agreement, pension plan actuaries, evidence and arguments for cases, going with members or citizens at the Equal Opportunities Commission, handling reclassification, doing job evaluations. I do not know. I practice in the industrial court, and at least somebody who is aspiring to be. No wonder why the PSA in this state now. Because you're having persons leapfrogging, trying to leapfrog with eloquence. Now, I could be very eloquent. And as you hear me tonight here, I could be very normal. I have never seen Oral Saunders standing in court arguing any case. I have never seen him move a dispute from the JCC to the CPO, to the Ministry of Finance, to the Special Tribunal. Now, comrades, there's a saying in the industrial court. If you go to the industrial court and you see an attorney who you don't know, mash up, mash up, mash up. If you don't know him practicing there, mash up. But when you go to the court and you see an attorney who you know, you fight on. You have to dig down in your box. I do not know Oral Saunders, Nanku, Majida. I don't know these people involved in anything which will allow me or any reasonable person to deduce that they are fit to be in an executive. I can say it plain here tonight. Nixon Benedict Callender is presently the only ordinary member of the PSA that practices in the industrial court at the Equal Opportunities Commission. I don't know these people. So who are they going to instruct when there is a matter that involves promotion, acting appointment, which is under the Public Service Commission? When a matter like that comes up, how is Oral Saunders, Majida, Nanku, Kojo, who are they going to instruct? Let me say, because those matters are dealt with in the High Court, and is the executive has to instruct the attorney. When we have a dispute in one of our bargaining units, which falls under the General Services Division, all what you go do? What you go do? We will be in the same position. You will hire lawyers. Because certainly you can't go in court and argue. When the massive, the mama of our bargaining unit, the massive civil service, when a dispute is laid before the court, what are you going to do? I hear. Well, I could tell the membership something. That they see you that lawyers see you in that seat, them hearing ching. Payments continue, people. Comrades, let me get real. Pack up all your bag. Go and try and get some stripes on all your red belt. No, go and get some stripes on all your white belt. And Oral, my advice to you is not my comrade. I will just call you by your first name. Oral, go by Edie and beg for mercy. Go and beg for mercy. Go by Edie Stewart and say, Edie, here, I'm sorry. Right? I'm sorry. I make a mistake. Because you did that already. I was emotional. Right? My head was hot. Because, comrades, any budding trade unionist will tell you, or any trade unionist will tell you, no union wants to have individual grievances all over the place or defending workers and rights issue in such big organization. The aim and objective is for collective bargaining. And comrades, members of the PSA, and I'm saying this, WASA, NIB, ADB, MIC, and MIC, all they know me. Anybody, any member of the association, of this association, or any union who wreaks wrath on another union for actually getting recognized majority union, obtaining an RMU, but them is fake, boy. That is our jewel. And any comrade, the nurses have made their choice years ago. I am not glad that the events that led to the nurses leaving the PSA, they made their choice. The Registered Nursing Association was a professional body. There was a professional body. And let me hit all of this googly. The PSA would have never, ever obtained recognition for the nursing fraternity. Never. Because not me, not teams, not PSA United Sentinel, not we who say that, it's the law. Go and read the union who tried to get recognition in Bristol. Comrades, nurses provide an essential service, and in the coming of the enactment of the Industrial Relations Act, all unions who maintained essential services were essential employees, maintained their recognized majority union status. And you cannot obtain any RMU for an additional. So Oral, Majida, Nanku, what are you vexed about? The PSA would have never gotten the recognition, so you all would have preferred, and I'm speaking this to Oral specifically because he is an enrolled nursing assistant. You're supposed to be glad. You're supposed to be happy. Because you know why? Should you split the votes come March the 10th, guess what? You tell all of us bye-bye. ED and them RMU certificate come now. ED and them. ED, drop that proposed collective agreement and they leave us in the mess. Yes, all. I'm talking directly to you, but I'm also talking directly to the members who following your nonsense. The empire is striking back. So they're going all over the place. All over the place. Nixon Callender this, Nixon putting up photos, thing, this, that, the other. Thing what again, a win. What have you won? What have you fought for? And that is the thing. What is Oral Saunders' claim to fame? What? I don't know you're in court. I don't know you're in the EOC. I can say one of the first equal opportunities case that the PSA did in the advent of the act. It was Nixon Callender who did it. I can tell you, and I can tell the whole viewership, that for the first time in the history at that time of the PSA, a section led by a chairman, who, Nixon Callender, did a reclassification exercise in a department. What have you done? But you're creating noise Go across and let me just say, Comrade Didi Stewart, yeah, what? I begging for the man. I begging for him. Just keep, you know, the little flap at the bottom of the door. Don't lock it. Don't lock it at all. Keep it. Just don't lock it. Or I'll go home to your daddy. A new home was built for you. It is called the Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association. Don't come and split we votes here. And for his whole team, if all you didn't know, I read out everything here. Because, comrades, that anomaly, what has been created, all you go to the polls and all you split up that vote. I could see the CPO sitting down on a sea-drink case and laughing at all of me. I could see Dindial taking off the bow tie and swinging it. Well, we don't make ourselves fools again, boy. We make ourselves enough fools already with Leroy and his partner and Kellon and Avinash and Felicia Thomas. Let's not make ourselves fools again, people. This could never happen in OWTU. It certainly could never happen in CWU, in BIGU, in Contractors General Workers Union. I know right now a couple of my association presidents is watching this live here right now. Is it happening in police, Trinidad and Tobago Police Welfare Association? It isn't happening in the Prison Officers Association. It isn't happening in the Fire Officers Association in Tutor. So Majida and others, now you all know, I have schooled you all. If your leader didn't tell you, but your leader, what are you doing? Throwing things at me? By win all my things by. And I didn't cut and run. You see that clip Fearless Warrior played there? I stood my ground and I fought for my membership from within. I did not submit, no resignation, because I get hurt. And years after, they threw me out, you resign. Live with it, own it. Oral Saunders, you resigned. You cut and you run. Watson did suspend me and the treasurer. No fanfare. I ain't going to take a crowd and running in the PSA every minute. I ain't take no statement and go and showing the world that the union leader buy panty for your wife with the PSA credit card. I know worse. I stay and I fighting within. And you see my members in MIC, ADB, they know firsthand, because comrade, when you're an executive officer, when you would say you're set in your own standards, you're comfortable with yourself. Them fellas and them know, because guess why? Why is negotiations going on after 11-12? All you are supposed to be there as General Secretary. You are supposed to be there. Not outside the union. Why they throw me out? Why? Why they throw me out? You are supposed to be night after night at them. I see you was Gen Sec. You was General Secretary. Nixon Callender is who spend nights, and guess what? When all your delusional clan and them, the dissidents, went and bring charges, a set of summons, guess what? I appear, and guess what? They used to get kicks. And I would give management that. I say, oh, yeah, I need to go and sign a book. And I would get up, and go and sign the book in Kunupia, and then come back in negotiations. And after about 4 months, so I said, nah, I call my lawyer. A school in here again, Saunders, Majida, Nanku. Let me school all here again. When I do in my case, I sit down and do my case with my lawyer. And I challenge the reporting in the High Court. And I created another little history. Because before me, it used to happen. Imagine I get reporting, crack at the peace tree bail, thing was for murderers. And I appeal them reporting, but that was thrown out. What have you done? What is your claim to fame? You run out of the union. When it is Watson, when Watson tell you he needs an industrial relations report, an industrial relations plan, with your arrows, go with your arrows. You went AWOL for 4 days. You went AWOL for 4 days. This is election time, people. The empire has struck back. Don't tell me I and other executive officers, those who came in on acting, because mind you, there was war in heaven, Michael fought against the dragon and the dragon fought. You know that story? It didn't happen so. It didn't have a fight, a man run. And then I stood up for corruption. And I stood up. You say a man buy panty for your wife on a statement? You go out on Abercrombie Street holding up when you fully well know that the policy in the union was whatever the credit card for the president. It didn't happen with Watson Duke. It happened with the president before that. Whatsoever incidentals for the union is charged with the credit card. Any matter, any item purchased by the president for his, well, it was her or himself, it is garnished. Will you stand up for corruption? Very soon, before, unless I am advised otherwise, and what I mean otherwise, by my legal people, I am going to read out the resignation letter. The same resignation letter that Oral Saunders never challenged in any court. He challenged his expulsion. And you have a knack for running away. You never one day came and stand up and face your counsel. What does it do? The court say, well, here, what you do there didn't really warrant that. They never come and face it. I, Nixon, Benedict Callender, when all of your little clan clowns and them went and bring summons. After summons, you know what I did? I went to Watson and I said, listen, you see what this bylaw say here? That the General Counsel may suspend any executive officer from whom is charged with a misdemeanor or a summary offense. May? Because that's what I was looking for. I say, I want to go before the General Counsel. I take up the same black bag up to this day, and I'll still be walking around over the place with it campaigning. It was since from that time. I pick up my bag, and I went in the lobby, and I sat down, and I left the general. After all the bacchanal kind of simmer down, after 27 minutes, they called me back upstairs. And the General Counsel took a resolution unanimously to stand up and support the General Secretary against all charges. And I stood up in the General Council and I thanked them. And you know what I told my council? Because mind you, I took a chance there because it still had people it still had rebel people in there who they were like we had, but they didn't like what the crew who was outside did. They realized that it went far. And you know what I told the General Council? Not a single cent will be wasted in this. I will win all my matters. I stayed and fight from within, while Oral Saunders will go down in history, cut and run. So you're not in my class. You are not in my shoes. I am your senior. And those that stand behind me are my instructors. So catch yourself. Go to your union. Go to our comrade. Beg for mercy. But don't come and split we votes. Don't come and do that. It have too much at stake here, comrades, public officers, WASA, ADB, NIB. It have too much here at stake. For what I just explained to you all there, that an individual and a team, I don't know if he told his team members, but now all you know. Because this thing goes hurrah, we have a low voter turnout. Guess what? Come March, April, when the RMU is issued now, you say, bye-bye. It was nice splitting votes. I gone. Know what are they doing? Public officers, PSA members, know what are they doing. This is not no fun and games now. We are on 2013 salaries. None of our bargaining units have settled anything under this executive. None. We are the only team that actually saying we got work to do. Plenty work to do. And this is why you need a team that consistently brought a plan. Right through, all the time. All the time. But you all were studying too much and noise. Let us stop that old talk. Tobago. Tobago. We have work to do. WASA. We got work to do. NIB. ADB, Civil Aviation Airports Authority, we have work to do. Let us stop clunging with fakes. I have a first vice president candidate there, Ms. Fazia Mohammed. By going into any battle with this woman, I would be the first president, I feel. I don't know how the rest had felt. That I will take my vacation on time. I have a second vice president here, which I can tell you all from nowhere. I'll go the cat out of the bag. I'm preparing portfolios already for the executive officers. And all of us will have sections and whatnot. The TTRA, BIR Customs, Civil Aviation, Airports Authority, Bureau of Standards, ADB, NIB are sections that will fall directly under the purview of the three presidents. Because, comrades, those areas are not only sensitive, but what is coming and what is already happening. And last but not least, the Water and Sewerage Authority. Comrades in Wassa, you all have suffered enough nepotism, victimization, not just from the employer, from our own representatives in the union. That stems from the executive. Comrades, I declare here to the whole world, I have no political aspiration and neither am my team. No one. We are bad mind focused. And whatsoever they pelt at us, all we ask in for, because it will affect you all, is that you all follow, not the play, follow the plan. And that goes out to all of our bargaining units. Comrades, we have an army of representatives to train, to let loose on the employer. Because you know why? They had to start to respect the union again from the bottom come up. When it is in that first year we unleash our representatives, they will be fully equipped here with order, discipline, and structure. They will be attending court, they will be attending negotiations, because our reps is where the next executives must come from. And this is why, from since 2013 to now, we have in our plan the Public Services Association Training Academy. We have in our plan the Cipriani Labor College. We turn in that. Forget our noise. Let me stay focused. We have work to do. We have our negotiations to deal with. So, comrades, RMU and the RHA, what it means to PSA members, and it means just that. When another union, when the Recognition and Certification Board has placed you in an appropriate bargaining unit for another union, you start to pack up. Because the next step, and comrades, because that is your choice. But I can tell you, not a single one of our bargaining units under our watch will want to leave. Because we will be looking at all our unions, our sister and brother unions, local, regional, and international, and seeing what they have. And we just want to up it. When they come in the PSA head office, yes, you come with worries, problems, but we don't want you just to come back in the PSA office with worries and problems. We want to bring back that traffic, that human traffic. We'll be opening our doors to the membership and closing the windows to the prying eyes of the world. Too much of people in with business. We'll lock hands with the trade union colleagues, and we continue the struggle. But this can only happen when you, public officers, PSA members, when you elect this team on Monday, Monday the 10th of March, 2025. Come out in all your numbers, people. Avinash, failure. Felicia, failure. Leroy, failure. Kellon, failure. Come out. Yes, and thank you, comrade. Fearless warrior.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just always forget that, because you say so much there. Trust me. More for me to say again. But and you answered all the questions basically that was circulating basically in the public domain. So there was no need for me to actually ask any. But I know for a fact that I am going to have the comrade, Mr. Oral Saunders, and I know for a fact that he will want to rebut what you have to say.
But the name is oral, so.
But let me ask you this thing. If it comes down to a debate with you, would you be willing to have a debate with Oral Saunders?
Oral Saunders is an illegitimate candidate in this election. You see, after tonight, I have already laid out a case against why this guy is an unfamiliar in our elections right now. He is here to split the votes. He is here to say, after he split the votes, he said, haha, bye-bye. In April, he jumped because, like it or not, whether he likes it or not, his new home is on the registered, the Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association. That is his new home. I don't need to go in any debate with all because I will not sit with a neophyte. I keep saying it, that for me to go and debate with this guy, I mean, men go be watching at my bad eye and thing in the court. They go say, oh, why you go do that? Callender God thing. So,
all right. Well, I know somebody saying, you please, my popcorn will be waiting. But but I know we will get a rebuttal from him, and I know that this is one of the many segments that you all will be coming on, and I want to know eventually, but people will want to know what about, like, if somebody wants to find out about the different rights they have in the workplace. Because you talk about the unions and you talk about the right to join different unions, but when it comes down to the bargaining part of it, you have to be in your particular field or area in order to bargain with.
Yes, you see, the PSA constitution is unique. You can be a member, but would you be a member in good standing as where the law states? When last I checked, the Industrial Relations Act, no bylaws of any trade union trumps the Industrial Relations Act. It doesn't trump it. You could spend your money there, but guess what? In our union, it says that if you are a member which another union has recognized majority union for, you won't even be admitted. So we go now to, and anybody could argue this. When you go now, let me say this thing reached, let me say before any panel, the argument will be, yes, they say they won't be admitted, but guess what? The person already in there. But what would be the spirit of the Constitution? The spirit of the Constitution in that retrospect, because remember, bylaws and constitutions are not just written as exact, is expressed and implied. And yes, what they could reasonably deduce. So you will sit in a union, be allowed to go up for elections and all them kind of thing, and be a member of another recognized majority. That goes even against the spirit of any bylaws of the organization. But we have to understand something, that at the end of the day, the aim and objective of any union is to seek out recognition, sole bargaining recognition, to bring order to chaos, right? Because at the end of the day, when you are representing everybody on individual grievances, like chaos, the RMU brings order to that. It brings what you call conformity to a standard. It sets a standard. So anyone who goes around and heaping, how I would say, rot, as I say, against any union who have obtained recognized majority, comrade, is it over 30 years. It didn't have collective bargaining in public health, in the public health sector, you know. It has begun with the Trinidad and Tobago National Nurses Association. But where does this leave the clerical officers and other categories of staff within the RHAs? Remember, we have HR people, we have clerical officers. The PSA, I started that in 2011, building up on the membership, recruiting membership, because I understood the importance of seeking RMU. We always knew that we would never get the RMU for nurses. We'll never get it because we will not be able to get an additional essential services. But in other people's mind, because of their sick, how I would say, selfishness, you would rather have an organization which representing 1111 rights issue, and never having a collective agreement than to suddenly now have the majority get the RMU. But by all means, comrade, you celebrate that. And yes, this now will energize the other workers. You have the clerical workers, you have the x-ray people, you have the hospital attendants and patient escorts. All these people need collective bargaining. And that is where, let me tell you, all these booklets that I'm here, all these plans, you would always hear me speak about RMU. RMU. Watch this. 2013 to 2017. What did we say about, right, regional health authorities, vision and action? The regional health authorities are responsible for healthcare of a large portion of the population. At that time, Team Sentinel will ensure that transformation and improvement takes place for RHAs over the next 4 years. An aggressive recruitment drive in order to attain 50+1 majority and attain recognized majority union status for all clerical staff. Since 2013, return collective bargaining to the RHAs. Ensure that worker representative is on every RHA pension plan committee. The implementation of group health coverage for RHA workers. Team Sentinel will recommend to the General Council that all RHAs become sections of the PSA with council members and delegates, for all to have a better input in the operations of the association and management of industrial relations in different RHAs. Team Sentinel will negotiate to have representatives on RHAs on full time off with pay to better manage grievances in the workplace. Team Sentinel will ensure reclassification of all healthcare workers in the RHAs to make it more attractive to retain our nurses, doctors, and other specialized workers in the healthcare. At that time, comrade, we was taking a bold step. We was going behind even the RHA nurses and them. This was in 2013. RHA, the nurses was still a section of the PSA there.
Yes.
So, comrade, at the end of the day, this document, look at the time, spoke to the same thing. Our 2020 spoke about the same thing. Our 2025 to 2029 speaks of the same thing. But in this case, because we knew all along that RMU would have been coming soon for one of the RHAs, so we would have indicated that we would be concentrating on the clerical workers, the clerical officers, HR, the hospital attendants, the patient escorts. It's about RMU. So I hope with this RMU that our brother and sisters of the Trinidad and Tobago National Nurses Association, with what they would have accomplished, will now, I would say, excite all of us who vying for office to try now and accelerate getting RMU for the other categories of workers?
Well, I want to thank you for this segment, and I know that this is just the beginning of what is to come with Team Sentinel, well, United Team.
PSA United Sentinel. PSA United Sentinels.
Oh, PSA United Sentinel. Listen, I said right? Right. United Sentinel. Sentinel. And so I know there's more to come in time to come. So people stay on the in the room, Mr. Oral. I mean, oh shit. I call him Oral. Oral, whatever name. But he was calling my name because trust me, I know he was saying something in the background, but I don't want to say it here what he said. But and you know exactly what he said. So trust me. We do have just some clips to show to end off the show for tonight. So I'll put you in the green room, Mr. Oral. Well, you see the man cussing there.
Oh God.
You know when people call it a name. When people call it a name, trust me, it's like a telepathical thing. And people saying, nah man, let me come in. So yes. Let me get it right before.
Let me end by saying public officers, PSA members, on Monday, the 10th of March, 2025, come out in all in numbers. Let's not split the votes. Let's not split those votes. I don't know what will go on with Majida and the rest of the crew, but we know that we articulate 13 candidates straight down. WASA, NID, Public Service, ADB, MIC. We need a minimum of 4,500 votes. Let's bring back normalcy to the PSA and let's get the work doing. Comrades, stay focused. We got work to do, plenty work to do.
Well, I know we will talk right after. Stay in the green room. So let me just play these little clips and we will have our discussion after in the green room. I know you partner for me because you know, I know what he says, trust me. So that was Mr. Nixon Callender and the presidential candidate for the PSA election that is upcoming very soon on March the 10th. And you're going to see more of him. And trust me, we're gonna deal with some things in the green room. But let me just play some clips here that I thought that would have been. But let me just play this one first, and then we'll play the other one, and then we'll play the next one.
Comrades, my stance within this association has always been to protect and defend the independence of the PSA and to remain committed to the ideals which had brought me here this evening also. Throughout the turmoil, I continue to do what I was elected to do as a trade unionist. That is, to represent the membership passionately in all matters that came before me. Comrades, Nixon Callender did not run from any challenge. Instead, I stood my ground. I held the fort, so that I can fight for you from within.
All right, fight from within, and let me just play this video.
Then PSA General Secretary in 20,111, Mr. Nixon Callender made PSA the first union to break the 5% cap on wage negotiations. PSA members, what are you waiting on? Vote Nixon Callender for PSA President and PSA United Sentinels on Monday the 10th of March 2025.
Yes, and so remember, that is the presidential candidate.
When you look at Farley's face, it is fat like the rear end of a woman. Fat. Bursting fat. When you look at Dr. Faith's face, fat as the rear end of a woman. All of them are put on fat. Look at the people in Scarborough that are losing weight. People cannot eat, people cannot have jobs. They have sold to beg out. All of them. They are the ones with new cars. They are the ones who are living good. Ha, 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 ha.
Remember, Tobago election coming up also. So right after the PSA election, Tobago election coming. And also, so the campaign trail has started for both Tobago election and the general election. And on Wednesday, we have Dauntless Defenders of Good Governance. Tomorrow, I'm not too sure if we will have a fine point, but most likely we may have a fine point, but I may be out on the field somewhere in Trinidad and Tobago. And so you need to guess where I'm going to be tomorrow. And if you guess right, we may very well get a little prize. So I didn't say what kind of prize it is, but you'll get a little prize. But we want to thank you all for actually staying on tonight until 10 o'clock. And although we go later than this sometimes. But the energy was there, the vigor was there. This is Bounce Up, and we want to thank our guest, who was Mr. Nixon Callender, who also had his program on tonight. And we really want to thank him for all the explanatory in terms of knowing the union and knowing the constitution of the union in some parts. And I know for a fact that we will know more as time go along, and we will gain more knowledge coming up in the weeks and months ahead after the election and all. So I'm your host, Fearless Warrior, and this is Fine Point, and we say good night. Let me play the tune that will take us out, because it has work to do.
Denzel Washington once said, "If you're rejected..."
Sorry, the wrong one. Yeah, this one.